All right, this is just a short little video of teaching you what we need you to do on this worksheet. So we're going to do two examples. We're going to do this top right one and this bottom right one. So I'm going to zoom in on this top right so you can kind of follow along a little bit easier and write it on your paper as well. So what we want you to do is we're going to give you an equation and we're going to give you x values. These x values are what we're going to plug in for our x in our equation. This middle column is what we're going to show our work. So if this says that I have negative x, this negative sign just really means that it's the opposite of x. So if we have the opposite of negative 4, well, the opposite of negative 4 is going to be positive 4. So my coordinate point is going to be negative 4, positive 4. So I use my x value of negative 4. I use my y value of positive 4. I'm going to do the same thing for this negative 1. I have a negative or an opposite of negative 1. The opposite of negative 1 is going to be positive 1. So my new point is going to be negative 1, positive 1. My last point, I have a positive 3. So I'm going to plug my 3 in for x. I have the opposite, or that negative sign, and I'm going to plug my 3 in where x is. So I don't have to do a lot of the work. I'm just going to say that my new point is going to be negative 3. So my coordinate point, I'm going to use my x value, which is 3, and I'm going to use my y value, which is negative 3. So these are my 3 points. I'm going to plot negative 4, 4. I'm going to go over to the negative 4. And then I'm going to go up to the positive 4. And there's my first point. My second point is going to be negative 1, positive 1. And then my last point is going to be positive 3, negative 3. When I have those 3 points, I'm going to connect them. I have to make sure that they are in a straight line, which they are. If they're not in a straight line, then that means that I did my math wrong. So on my next example, the one right below it, I have kind of more of a complex problem. I have different x values that I'm going to plug in for my equation. So where I see 3 and an x, these two things means that they are being multiplied together. So I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to multiply it by my x value, which is negative 2, and then I'm going to subtract 4. When I plug this part in, I can plug it into my calculator, but I know that 3 times negative 2 would be negative 6, and negative 6 minus 4 is going to be negative 10. So my point is going to be negative 2, negative 10. My next x value is a 0. So I'm going to plug it in where my x is. So I would have 3 times my new number, which is 0. And I'm still going to subtract that 4 on the end. So I know that 3 times 0 is 0. And then 0 minus 4 would be negative 4. So my point would be 0, negative 4. Remember that I'm getting this coordinate point from taking my x value that I used and then the y value that I figured out. And I just put them together as a coordinate point. My last one, I would have 3 times 3. Then I'm going to subtract 4. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 minus 4 would be 5. So my coordinate point would be 3, 5. When I have all of my coordinate points, I'm going to go ahead and plot them. My first point is at negative 2. So I'm going to go over to the negative 2 and then down to the negative 10. My next point is 0, negative 4. 0 means that I'm not going left or right any, but I am going to go down to the negative 4 as my y number. And then my last point is positive 3, positive 5. So I'm going to go to the right to positive 3, and then I'm going to go up to positive 5. When I connect these dots, I can see that they are going to be in a straight line. Nothing's really out of the ordinary, so that makes it a linear equation.